Instagram, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Oh my goodness. Slow. Okay. Well, I'm just going to count on it, hopefully having done what it's supposed to do. There we go. Now I can see it. All right. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. I always hate that lame beginning because I'm so busy trying to get the Instagram to hook up that I don't get to greet you with great enthusiasm. Good morning. Hello. Happy Friday. We have an awesome reading for today, and we're on here early because it is Friday and it's Grandma Friday, and I get to roll up to Menominee and see my little Scarlet, my honey buns. So I was thinking, I woke up this morning and my back was feeling pretty darn good, and I thought, okay, good. I'm gonna take good care of it today. I'm not, because what set it off again recently was lifting a box, and then I'm like, oh, I have to lift a 10-pound baby. So hopefully that will not set off the same spasms and other assorted unfun things, but we'll get this thing sorted out eventually. Definitely on the mend. Definitely on the mend. So I'm happy about that. So we have been on a roll lately, and that roll has included talking about, let me just review briefly for those of you who maybe would like to go back and review some of these because they're just so awesome. On the 19th, we talked about what to do when nothing's wrong, but it doesn't feel right. And that was on Chip Conley's blog post. It was a guest post, but it was the story of going out to the edge of darkness and gathering what was there, then bringing it back and sharing it with others. And then the next one was a Richard Rohr guest post, which was talking about contemplation. Again, in that same ballpark, the stillness. What do we gain from being in stillness? Are we willing to even show up in the dark and in the stillness and just be? Not try to fix it, not try to do anything about it, but just be. And then yesterday was Do I Love or Hate the Fire Horse? And that's another Chip Conley. And it was about the turbulence that we're going through right now, the upheaval, and that the last fire horse year we had was 1966, which was another year marked by turbulence and upheaval. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you found me at this early hour. So, yes, it's Friday. It's Friday. It's Scarlet Friday. Get to go see my baby. So today, we have another Chip Conley. He's on a roll lately. He is just on a roll. He is in the middle of radiation and hormone depletion therapy. And I think he is in a place of, I can say whatever I want to say. I am free to do at this point in my life. So this one's called Getting Older, Getting Weird. So let's do a little tapping and a little breath just to ground ourselves. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. I probably practiced my breathing today. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And an hour and a half in the car each way is a good opportunity. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more nice deep breath. Hold at the top. In through the nose. Hold. And release. And that feels good. That feels just so good. So, and I think you're going to find that this reading feels so good because it's so spot on for things I've been saying for quite a few years now. Like, I want to know who you really are. I'll be willing to suffer talking about the weather for about 2.8 seconds. And then who are you? I want to know you. Yeah. And there are people who are like, ah, and run screaming. But nonetheless, there's other people who are like, oh, yeah, let's go deep. Let's go get coffee and let's go deep. So Chip Conley, his blog post is found at wisdomwell at modernelderacademy.com. And it's called Getting Older, Getting Weird. So hang on, let's go for a little ride here. Getting Older, Getting Weird. A recent New York Times article on aging and weirdness basically confirms what many of us in midlife already suspected. Aging is less about becoming elderly and more about becoming delightfully unhinged. And I like the delightfully, because there are some unhinged folks out there who it's not very delightful, but delightfully unhinged. Red Hat Society, anyone? Honestly, thank God. Because after the year I've had, I no longer possess the emotional bandwidth to pretend I care about things like decorative throw pillows, the damn weather, networking events, or whether my socks work with my outfit. Mortality has entered the chat. The older I get, the more I understand why elders become gloriously specific humans. They suddenly eat dinner at 4:37 p.m., own 17 scarves, talk about the sexual proclivities of their exes, hopefully not, have blood pressure opinions, and use phrases like, I don't need that fucking energy in my life. And honestly, they're onto something. When you're young, your personality is basically a hostage negotiation with social acceptance. Hear that again. I thought that was such an amazing way to capture what I certainly felt like younger. Your personality is basically a hostage negotiation with social acceptance. Wow. Wow. By midlife, especially after enough heartbreak, illness, betrayal, and awkward dinner parties, you realize normal is just a collective fear of wearing khakis. Normal is just a collective fear wearing khakis. So you start becoming yourself. You wear the weird hat. You cancel the thing. Yay, cancel the thing. You stop finishing books you hate. You get a couple pages in, it isn't grabbing your attention, chuck. Good morning, Maureen. Glad you are here. Welcome. Thank you for the sunshine. I appreciate it. You develop a passionate relationship with your orthopedic pillow. I'm not quite to that point yet, but given the back, an orthopedic mattress, that might be a good thing. Freedom, finally. The irony is that younger people think aging means becoming invisible. No, aging means becoming harder to domesticate. I loved that line too. I thought that was fabulous. Aging means becoming harder to domesticate. Someone I love dearly no longer has much of a governor on his mouth, and out will blurp this stuff. And I'm like, did you just say that? Yes, he did. You stop performing, you stop auditioning, you stop pretending you like tequila bars where everybody screams over the music that sounds like a blender fighting for its life. I read that and thought I laughed. I thought that was funny. You start choosing a hair color that matches your mood, or you give up on hair color altogether. Who cares? Who cares? And maybe that's wisdom. Not becoming less strange with age, but finally becoming strange enough to be real. Chip. I just thought that was fabulous. I thought that was absolutely fabulous. Who do you know who's the most authentic? Who do you know who's the most real? Yes, you do lose your filter as you get older. And maybe there's nothing wrong with that. Because kids don't have that filter either, little kids, until we train it out of them. Mom, why is she so fat? He doesn't smell good. All the things, right? Kids are just right there, and you know where you stand with them. I don't like you. You're too loud. I don't like you. You're mean. I don't, you know where you stand with the kids, right? And then we train it out of them. Yeah. So, this freedom perspective, the freedom that comes with getting older, and even the words like aging, how many connotations does the word aging have? Frail, health goes to hell, mind goes, all the things, get dependent on others, yada, yada, yada. And sometimes those things happen, but a lot of times they don't. And there's a whole lot of living down to the expectations of aging. What if that quarter three, quarter four of your life can be vibrant, fun, exciting, community, joyful, etc.? What if? What if we change our mindsets about what we think that period of our life portends, and we give it some fun, we give it some joy, we give it some freedom? I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about when I want to talk about it. What if? What if? Throw some things in the feed. What are your thoughts on this? But I just love this. So I want to go back. I'm going to read it again because it's so good. It's so good. Getting older, getting weird. A recent New York Times article on aging and weirdness basically confirms what many of us in midlife already suspected. Aging is less about becoming elderly and more about becoming delightfully unhinged. Honestly, thank God, because after the year I've had, I mean, he's gone through cancer, the death of his mom, his dad going into assisted living, his partner moving back to his home country, all kinds of things. After the year I've had, I no longer possess the emotional bandwidth to pretend I care about things like decorative throw pillows, the damn weather, network events, or whether my socks work with my outfit. Mortality has entered the chat. The older I get, the more I understand why elders become gloriously specific humans. They suddenly eat dinner at 4:37 p.m., own 17 scarves, talk about the sexual proclivities of their exes, don't you dare, have blood pressure opinions, and use phrases like, I don't need the fucking energy in my life. And honestly, they're onto something. When you're young, your personality is basically a hostage negotiation with social acceptance. Oh, God, I hated that period of time in my life. Well, what are they thinking? Is this okay? No, not winding myself around that axle anymore. By midlife, especially after enough heartbreak, illness, betrayal, and awkward dinner parties, you realize normal is just collective fear wearing khakis. So you start becoming yourself. You wear the weird hat. You cancel the thing. You stop finishing books you hate. You develop a passionate relationship with your orthopedic pillow. Freedom, finally. The irony is that younger people think aging means becoming invisible. No, aging means becoming harder to domesticate. You stop performing, you stop auditioning, you stop pretending you like tequila bars where everyone screams over the music that sounds like a blender fighting for its life. You start choosing a hair color that matches your mood. Gray, gray. And maybe that's wisdom, not becoming less strange with age, but finally becoming strange enough to be real. Chip. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, on that happy note, be your strange self today. You be your strange self today. Speak your truth. Put some things out there. Raise a few eyebrows. That would be great. That'd be a great goal to have. Raise a few eyebrows. Yes. Focusing more on what I like and what brings me joy. Yes, 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 yes. And not wasting time on things that don't. And I'm getting to the point where I'm noticing when I have resentment about something, and maybe I'll pay somebody to do those things because I don't want to do them anymore. I'm glad you love this. Yes, I loved this too. I thought it was fabulous. So I have nothing lined up for tomorrow. We'll see what actually comes flying out of my mouth, right? But have an awesome Friday. Spend some time in that freedom to be exactly who you are. Exactly who you are. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye bye.